I want you to imagine asking any of your friends what comes to mind when they hear the phrase indie animation. Now, of course, I'm not talking about your average terminally online on the spectrum cartoon goober who's more up to date on YouTube animations than the last time they touched grass. You know, you or me. No, I mean your normal friend. You know, the one that watches whatever pops up on their YouTube homepage, their Prime account, or their cousin's stolen Netflix login. Well, if your normie friends are anything like mine, they probably only know one major example of what you would call indie animation, and that's none other than everybody's favorite Vivziepop's Hazbin Hotel. And to be fair, it's for good reason. Say what you will about Vivziepop, seriously, you will, but she went from the quiet kid in the corner of the room drawing weird shit to a girl who draws edgy snake human romances, don't Google it, to being an animation student, then a wildly popular YouTube creator, and now the showrunner of 2 major animated series, both funded by, of all things, the biggest mega corporation on earth, Amazon. She's in Daddy Bezos' pocket. And by the way, if you ever wanted to see any of my other edits on other channels, I actually did a pretty funny edit for another channel's video on Jeff Bezos. It's pretty good. Give it a view if you can. So, respect where it's due. I genuinely admire how she's come this far. She's become a household name in the world of indie animation, and I would say just in general she's become a household name. But if my last video about her and several others are any indication, by the way, there's a playlist below if you are into that, while it's awesome to see indie animation being mentioned alongside mainstream giants like the Invincible series, The Boys, and a slew of other juggernauts, there's still a slight problem. It's kind of set in stone what people think indie animation should be, to a certain degree. Personally, it reminds me of how Family Guy started out as a scrappy little show that was cancelled by Fox, then revived by Adult Swim. After a couple years or so in syndication, Family Guy then absolutely blew up in popularity, only to become so popular that it was then taken back by Fox and spawned a generation of clones, each one chasing the same edgelord non sequitur style of jokes, only really slowing down recently with more specific unique shows like BoJack Horseman, Bob's Burgers, and various others, just to name a few. So here's my concern. It's that, is indie animation supposed to be this now? Is the only way to get a show on Prime or Netflix through indie animation supposed to be just making the most in-your-face, colorful, cram 500 swear words per minute show, and toss out any semblance of story or character development for chaotic vibes and character designs that are easy to use in content farms? Okay, that was a bit of an unfair stray that hit Digital Circus. However, it's nowhere near as huge as the empire that Vivziepop has built. Are we entering a dark age of indie animation? Or did Terrace, the creator of the Owl House, potentially just set the stage for the largest glow-up of the indie animation scene? Just a quick reminder, dropping a like and a comment really helps a ton. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can buy me a coffee using the link below. Thanks so much, guys.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance
in the indie animation sphere.
We have a new enemy.
If you had told me back in 2021 that the show I was avidly watching on Disney Plus, The Owl House, would be unceremoniously axed because it skewed a bit older and didn't fit into Disney's unserialized and unserious child storytelling branding, I'd have been heartbroken. Yeah, see, while season 1 was pretty standard for Disney cartoons, you had your usual tropes, your quirky sidekicks, your Saturday morning vibes. Of course, there were a couple moments here and there that felt a little bit more mature and well written, outside of Disney's mandate to make the show as much like Harry Potter as possible.
For one thing, there was a lot of studio interference in the first half of season 1. I had just a million executives, 6 executives giving me 6 different kinds of conflicting notes, and it made writing the episodes and finishing the episodes just so maddening. Yeah, and the tone of the first 13 episodes just don't feel like the show, which is the majority of the show.
Setting the show entirely within a high school setting instead of within Ida's home as originally planned, by season 2, Terrace and her team were out here flexing on the whole industry with top-tier world building, emotionally rich characters, and themes that punched way above Disney's regular pay grade of writing characters. And by the time it ended, with what I still think is some of the best animated kids programming since Avatar: The Last Airbender, a lot of us were left asking, what the hell comes next? Well, Now, after months of people constantly harassing Dana online with sticks, asking if she was working on Owl House Season 4, to which she would repeatedly say, "I'm not making this my whole personality, y'all," she finally revealed she'd be co-producing a brand new show with none other than Glitch Productions. Yeah, that glitch. And while we don't know much yet because Dana is being tighter-lipped than a Marvel NDA, I'm willing to say with my whole chest that her upcoming show, The Knights of Guinevere, could be a total game changer for indie animation. You see, let's be clear here. Vivziepop is an absolute creative powerhouse. She basically willed her own studio into existence, SpindleHorse, and made herself the driving force behind everything it produces. And while yes, she works with a team of writers and animators, the final say and vision was always very much hers. Her fingerprints are on everything. Dana Terrace? Totally different vibe. From day one, Dana's been a team player. She cut her teeth working on Gravity Falls, collaborating closely with Alex Hirsch, which as she put it, he knew exactly where the show was going at that point since it was known to be finishing quite soon, so she was able to work in tandem with him with his expectations of the show's finale. Then she moved on to DuckTales, where she worked under an established showrunner and learned how to build stories around existing frameworks. Unlike Vivziepop, Dana's experience has always been built around collaboration, pulling talent together to make something greater than the sum of its parts. And you can see that influence all over the Owl House. As much as it was Dana's baby, it was co-written and shaped by two other talented writers who are also returning for the Knights of Guinevere. She's not afraid to share the sandbox, and that's what makes her dangerous in the best possible way. If there's one thing I've learned from making my videos, it's that collaboration is broken in animation. Just look at other greats like Zach Hadel of Smiling Friends, who swears by the power of collaboration.
And if you're not a great voice actor, just keep practicing. If you're not a good writer, try to maybe partner with somebody or get better yourself. Sound mixer, you have a musician guy, you have a voice actor, you have a background person, you have somebody doing in-betweens, colors, whatever. As an assistant thing, that's right. You know, like, I fully encourage collaboration. Anything, it'll really give you a big leg up in the advantage of understanding a little bit of every little aspect of making an animation.
Him working alongside Michael Cusack is what made the show as great as it is. Not just because he was able to have a final say on anything, he was able to get everything passed by Michael, and Michael passed everything by Zach. And Dana gets this. She thrives on it. And with Glitch Productions already having grown into a major player in the indie scene, this might be the perfect storm, as they have seemed to become the most eclectic group of artists in the business currently. And is honestly so much better than if she ended up working with SpindleHorse. I genuinely believe the Knights of Guinevere could elevate indie animation in a way we haven't seen in years. This isn't just about creating another popular show, it's about creating something respected, something that rivals the polish and depth of any major animation studio, but with the creative freedom and punch mainstream studios like Disney don't allow anymore. Dana has already expressed her admiration for other Glitch shows, like The Amazing Digital Circus, and specifically The Gaslight District, so there's a very real chance she could lend her expertise beyond just one project, helping shape an entire wave of high-quality indie content. Forget just proving that indie animation can be more than edgy, stiffly animated demon musicals, where the F-word is thrown as liberally as I breathe every day. Dana's about to show the world that it can be fluid, beautiful, and narratively rich, and with the way in which the Owl House concluded, emotionally devastating, without undermining it with constant swear words or sex jokes. God forbid. She's here to remind Disney exactly what they threw away, and what they never deserved in the first place. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week.